Doctor Who, The Veils of Time. The universe was in chaos. Strange beings from another dimension had been set loose in the ultimate universe and were running amok all over it. On the planet Cabbage, a young man stepped onto the planet. The Ultimate Doctor was answering a request to come. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a slightly older man with a Scottish accent came over to him. It was one of his predecessors, the Spy Doctor.
Ultimate,
the Spy Doctor said. Spy, the Ultimate Doctor said. You knew I would be here.
But of course,
the Spy Doctor said.
I watch all my other selves. Why, just last week I had to help out you, your successor, and our first self escape a trap by the Master.
I don't remember that, Ultimate said.
It's in your future, after you see your successor's successor at the White House.
Good God, I have a lot to look forward to, Ultimate exclaimed.
Yes,
Spy agreed.
Anyway, I need a bit of help in clearing up this mess I'm currently in.
Doctors, Ultimate said, and then together they announced,
We get the job done.
Doctor Who, The Veils of Time, written and read by Nick Payne. The two doctors wandered across the planet for a short while of time. They were hunting some of the strange beings.
So, what are these beings called, Doctor?
Spy asked his successor. Well, I was you when I met them, so I would have forgotten them when I became Sweetie, Ultimate replied to his predecessor. The Sweetie Doctor was the doctor between the two, the fourth incarnation. He liked sweets and chocolates and all those sweet-tasting goodies. He co-ran a sweet shop, for goodness sake. Whenever he was near sweets, he was in his element. But we won't be hearing from him here. We will hear Sweetie and have him in action. But not yet. You have to put up with these two for now. Anyway, the two doctors approached a small village on the edge of the planet. The village was called Cabbage 2018. The 2018th settlement called Cabbage. There were so many, they needed numbers. In Roman numerals, even though the inhabitants didn't know what a Roman was. So that's how it was when it translated into English, even though in this script it was presented as a normal number. The doctors approached the villager.
Excuse me, sir, could you tell us what's happening here?
The Spy Doctor asked, noticing the devastation in the village.
Oh, some strange beings attacked us,
the old villager said.
I don't know their names.
No, neither do we, the Ultimate Doctor said.
Yes, so we must continue our search,
the Spy Doctor said.
We'll have to look elsewhere.
So they headed off. The two doctors eventually came to what appeared to be a tear in the universe. The Ultimate Doctor went up to have a look.
Don't get too close,
the Spy Doctor said. The Ultimate Doctor paused. Suddenly, the ground rumbled and a glowing blue light streamed out of the tear. Suddenly, it hit the Ultimate Doctor in the back, the glowing blue light going inside his body. He collapsed. The Spy Doctor rushed over to help his future self. Suddenly, Ultimate woke with a start. I have a lot of energy, Doctor, he said. I don't know how, though.
You seem to have absorbed that blue glow from the tear, the Spy Doctor said.
I do feel a little unwell, actually, the Ultimate One said. I may need to sit out the remainder of this adventure.
Oh, very well,
the Spy One said. So the Ultimate Doctor headed back off to his TARDIS. Meanwhile, as the Spy Doctor headed back to his own TARDIS, he decided to find out where the tears in the universe were coming from. He had a feeling that the strange creatures were coming from whatever was on the other side. On his way, he tripped over something. He looked over where he tripped. A small metal device was on the ground. The Doctor picked it up. It looked like a dimensional stabilizer. He decided to put it in his pockets and headed back to his TARDIS. The Spy Doctor travelled to a tear in the universe where the strange beings were coming from. He opened the door and scanned the tear with his sonic screwdriver. The TARDIS had been stabilised near the tear so it and the Doctor would not get sucked in. After scanning the tear, the Doctor examined the results.
It appears that there is an alternative dimension,
the Doctor said.
Well, that explains the dimensional stabilizer.
Suddenly, the cloister bell started to ring.
No, wait,
the Doctor cried, more to himself than anybody else.
It's not an alternative dimension. It's a dimension prison. Pretty much a dimension to hold prisoners, and they're supposed to be unbreakable. Yet somehow these creatures have escaped from this one.
Meanwhile, M stared out of the window. Chaos had been spreading across the universe, so he had his work cut out for him. Agent Lisa Hartfell was helping him.
Where are these beings coming from?
M muttered. No idea, sir, Lisa said. The doctor is investigating.
Ah, yes.
The doctor, M said, slightly quieter than before. Suddenly there was a knock on the door.
Oh, Lisa, could you get that please, my dear?
M asked Lisa. Lisa looked confused and slightly offended. Why didn't you ask Miss Cashy Pound? Lisa asked. The door then opened. Oh, shit! Lisa cried as mysterious figures entered the room.
My dear Lisa Hartfell, M said, meet the Veils of Time. A race of beings so deadly that they can erase you from time and space for no reason whatsoever apart from the fact that they feel like doing it. So the Time Lords locked them in a dimensional prison.
Holy shit! Lisa exclaimed. How did they escape? She then saw her boss smile evilly.
Because I set them free, girl, M announced loudly. I set them free to ruin the universe so that I can control it.
But why? Lisa asked.
Because, M said, I want to rule the universe. We are ready, Master, one of the Veils said.
Master? Lisa asked.
That's right, M said. Master. I am the Master!
The Doctor decided to return back to Space Agency headquarters. When he arrived, he discovered that it had been ravaged and all the staff were dead.
What's going on? The Doctor demanded to know. God, this place stinks, and more than usual, shoddy hell.
The Doctor stormed into M's office. As he entered the secretary's room, he discovered the body of
Miss Cashy Pound.
The Doctor exclaimed. Miss Cashy Pound was lying dead across her desk. The door to M's office was wide open. He went to look inside. The room was spotless. In fact, it had barely been touched, save for the numerous dirty footprints on the floor. A large number were near the door. The Doctor stepped further inside. Suddenly, the Doctor saw something on the table. A message device of some kind. He saw there was a message. He pressed the play button. The message played.
Greetings, Doctor, came the voice of the Master. I am not who I appear to be. I am actually the Master!
The Doctor gasped. The Master's message continued to speak.
I infiltrated the Space Agency and killed the M who was in charge and replaced him as the new M. I then set about arranging the Nestines to use the Earth as a new home planet after it was destroyed in what is now known as the Time War, which you haven't done yet. I did that so I could stop them from killing me and that the Earth could be turned into the new Polymus to spite you. I also arranged the attempted assassination on the planet Fredonia to have their king killed, and I will get a better trade deal with Fredonia.
Really? The Doctor thought to himself.
Anyway, continued the Master, now I have released several criminals from a dimensional prison, the Veils of Time. They will pass through you, killing you. They are the key to my plan to take over the universe. But I know you'll be after me and the Veils, so here's what we're going to do. An exchange. You recovered a device on one of the planets you visited. It is a dimensional stabilizer. It will allow all of the Veils to come through. As you see, I need it to expand the hole I created to let them out. I need the device to expand it. Do you get it yet? Do you get it yet, Doctor? Anyway, in exchange, Agent Lisa Hartfell will be returned to you unharmed. Well, mostly depending on how much struggling and resisting she does. She may be harmed a little bit, but not beaten or wounded or anything too bad. Just a few pulls, pushes, shoves, slaps, hits, and the odd punch. Maybe a broken nose or teeth, but that's as far as we'd go. We want you to meet us on the planet you found the dimensional stabilizer. Cabbage on! Meet us there as soon as you've received this message. Thank you for listening. See you there. End of message. The message then ended.
The Doctor, with haste, ran back to his TARDIS. He quickly fiddled with the controls. The TARDIS sprinted into life. As the TARDIS travelled to Cabbage, the Doctor got out from his pockets the dimensional stabiliser. The TARDIS then landed. The Doctor stepped out to face the Master, Lisa and the Veils.
I expect you want the dimensional stabiliser first,
the Doctor said. Yes, said the Master.
I will walk halfway across this field, then you, Master, and Lisa will walk to the same place,
the Doctor said.
Then I shall hand over the dimensional stabiliser to the Master. Lisa will then step forward and be with me. Then, you'll probably want to use that for evil, and we will either have to die or live to try and stop you, or something. Let's just do this first and deal with whatever afterwards. Sound good?
Yes, the Master said. Lisa, move, or I shall shove you, because I am mean, the Master laughed. Ha 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 ha! Lisa said, so long as none of your friends follow. Fair enough, said the Master. The Doctor stepped forward. He reached halfway across the field. The Master and Lisa then stepped forward and crossed their half of the field. They reached the middle. The Doctor handed out the dimensional stabiliser. Doctor, you can't do this, Lisa cried.
I have to, Lisa,
the Doctor said.
I can't let them hurt you more.
Oh, how touching, the Master said as he took the dimensional stabiliser. But wise choice, Doctor. Orientation part fell. Shoo. Charming and with pleasure, Lisa said, moving next to the Doctor. So what now? She asked.
Honestly, I don't know,
the Doctor replied. He and Lisa frowned. The Master smiled. Good, he said. Okay, you lot. Suddenly, the sky was swarming with space agency ships. Oh, fuck! I thought they were all dead, the Master cried. Apparently not, Lisa said, punching the Master in the face and grabbing the dimensional stabiliser. The Veils then quickly flew towards them. Shit, Lisa said, attempting to use the dimensional stabiliser. How do you work this damn thing? The Doctor then took the dimensional stabiliser from her. He then pressed a few buttons, and a tear opened. The Veils then flew into the tear. The Doctor retapped some buttons and the tear closed. I'm going to have to close that big tear as well,
and any other open ones,
the Doctor said. Suddenly the Master then got up. Curse you, Doctor, and Lisa Hartwell, he said. But no matter. The plan's you two, and also one of your other future selves, stopping that unintentional plan, they're surviving their steam from your last encounter with them had. Anyway, you may have stopped these plans, but you haven't stopped me, and I still have my master plan!
One question, Master, the Doctor asked. What was that blue light that came out one of the tears and went into another of my successors?
I don't know, said the Master. Then he ran off back to his TARDIS. Running away like a little girl, Lisa said as the Master reached his TARDIS. He got in it and dematerialised. And I should know, Lisa yelled as the Master's TARDIS dematerialised. I was a little girl, once upon a time. But the Master and his TARDIS had gone by now.
What is he planning?
The Doctor asked himself. Whatever it is, it will be big, Lisa said. Maybe we should check the screens.
Yes,
the Doctor said.
But first I shall close that tear.
Remind me what you did the last time you used these? Lisa asked when she and the Doctor entered their screen room back at the space agency, after they had closed the tears in space, preventing the Veils from escaping their prison.
Oh, I just saved my first and two other future selves from being trapped in a dimension by another incarnation of the Master who wanted to kill them, the Doctor said. He was a bit over the top, that incarnation of the Master, The two incarnations of me, well, one of them was the one I spoke to earlier, and the other is his successor. I think that was the one the Master was talking about with the other nesting plan.
He tapped a few buttons on his keyboard and finally found the Master, the incarnation they had just met, about an hour after he had escaped them. He had arrived above Earth in the year 1963. What is he doing there and then? Lisa asked.
I don't know,
said the Doctor. Then suddenly a thought came into his head.
Wait! No, he can't be,
the Doctor exclaimed. Suddenly there was the sound of another TARDIS in the Master's vicinity. A blue box then appeared from the side of the screen. It's the TARDIS, Lisa cried. Is that us going to stop them?
No,
the Doctor said.
But we do need to get there fast. I know what he's planning.
What is he planning? Lisa asked. The Doctor looked at her sadly with fear.
He's planning to stop me from beginning, to prevent me from being who I am. He is going to kill my first incarnation and change time. He is planning to erase the Doctor from existence.
To be continued. The Spy Doctor will return in The 13 Doctors. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Audio YouTube channel.